Hi, I'm Sue from Quilter's Paradise. Today I'm going to show you how to use another one of our Slit and Sew templates. We have created a clamshell template that makes it easy to piece. We have it in 3 sizes. This is a 12-inch clamshell. Then we have a 4-inch clamshell. And we have a 6-inch clamshell. The clamshell, and I'm going to be showing you on the 6-inch finished template, comes with 2 pieces. One A and one is piece B. I'll be showing you in a minute why we use piece B. That's what I typically start on the layout. But first I want to show you on piece A, and it also occurs on piece B, there's a slit here and we need to have the matching slit on the other side. We couldn't put it in without having the acrylic brick. So we're going to pick this up and we're going to flip it over. And we're going to put it back down, lining this up. So that's lined up, and so now I can put this slit in and I will use the 28 millimeter and put it in. You have to do that on both the A and B. Okay, on page 7 of the pattern, we show you 2 possible ways of starting. Now, of course, this isn't the only ways, but I'm going to start sewing using this method, where you're going to use the full of the B, you're going to use the full of the A's for the first row, and on the second row you're going to use fulls and partials. So I'm going to be showing you how to put this together, how to put the first one in. Once we have this row done, I'm going to show you how to start this. For step 1 of putting the clamshell together, it states putting 2 piece B's together. Okay, so that is what I have here. But I also wanted to show you something else that occurs a lot with the clamshell. And we get a very thin area here in that we're going to be sewing right to the middle. What I've discovered is instead of using a 1/4 inch foot, even though I want a 1/4 inch seam, I like to use an open toe foot. And when using an open toe foot, I want to set this up so that it will do a 1/4 inch seam. So I use a seam gauge, okay, which we do. And so I make the seam gauge level with my foot and make sure the needle is in the position for a 1/4 inch, because I do want to do a 1/4 inch. Then I take painter's tape and I just lay it down to give me a reference. Now my machine is set up for 1/4 inch sewing for using the clamshells. The other thing that I do is I set the stitch length to 1.8. I don't want these stitches coming out. Okay, so we're going to now sew 2 piece B's together. I'm now going to start sewing 2 B's together. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to put my foot down, put my needle down, and I am going to sew a 1/4 inch seam. At this time, I'll either use like an awl or scissors to hold things, or the tip of my scissors. So I'm lining it up, and I am just going to sew a 1.8 inch seam. And as you can see, it's cresting a little, so just put it back down and keep on going. I'm going to remove it, cut it off, and now I'm going to press this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put in one of the clamshells. So on page 4 of the directions, step 1, we just sewed 2 piece B's together, and now we have to press the seam open. That helps the bulk. So you just open it up, use your fingernail, get in there. You could finger press, but I like to press with an iron. Okay. And I press this side, and I turn it over, and I press again. Now, with it face up, I'm going to position the clamshell where I want it to go. I want it to sew here, and that is what it's showing. But now what I have to do is I have to start sewing here around this, and to do that I flip this over and I line this up straight right there. And I'm going to start sewing here 1/4 of an inch of seam all the way around. Okay, I have my needle down. I have my piece A face down facing my piece B, which is facing up. I'm going to bring this over to this point, and I'm going to put my foot down and start sewing. I'm going to take about 3 stitches, and then I'm going to stop, because I now secured that edge so it will be straight when I put another clamshell there. I'm going to raise my foot. I have a slit here. I have a slit here. I'm going to bring them together. And I just tug until they're together. I'm going to be putting my foot down. Doing the clamshell, every time you're going to sew to the slit. Once you get to the slit, you're going to raise the foot so that you can adjust. It's a tighter curve than some of the other templates we have. So I get to the slit. Same thing, I'm going to raise the foot. I have a slit, I have a slit. Again, I'm going to bring them together, and I'm going to line it up. The blue tape helps me line it up in front. I'm going to sew straight to that slit. I'm going to do it again. And what's happening here is the bottom fabric's crunching up a little. You just get it out of your way. Again, bring that slit over, bring this. Okay, try to keep these edges together. Put your foot back down. Again, sew to that slit. It's nice having the open toe because you can see. Raise it again. Tug. Sew to this slit. Okay, when we raise the foot and stuff, now I want you to see, especially with the white here, the seam between the 2 B's are here. And we have to sew to there and then sew to this slit. So all you do is make sure you pull this over right there. We're just going to sew to that stitch about here. We're going to stop. We're going to raise the foot again, and now we're going to line up the slits. And now we're going to keep, and sometimes you have to tug a little more. You just line up those slits. Again, raise the foot, bring it over. Again, keep doing it to the slits. Now the last slit you're gonna do, it's a gentle tug, but you're gonna have to tug a little bit more. And one of the things are you just wanna get underneath and push the other stuff out of the way. It just squunches up. And you bring it around. This is where you're gonna bring in your awl. And whatever, put this down, sew to this slit. Stop again, put this up. Now the first couple of times it's going to be a little confusing, but once you do this several times, you'll get the hang of it. Now when I get towards the end here, I have to stop, and I want to make sure this edge is the same as that edge. So I bring this around, flip it, put it down, and sew off. So now that we have it all sewn, now we have to press it. And what I've discovered that I like the best is I press from the front and then go back and press the seams back. Now I always want to press to the clamshell that I just sewed in. So I'm just moving my iron around, and I'm going to press this flat. And look at what we did. I'm going to turn it over and make sure that all these seams are going down. They are. And by doing the start the way that we did the start and the way that we did the end, you can see these are even. That's what you want to achieve. So now I'm going to sew. I've already prepared the first row, so that's how you start it. I'm going to bring this over. Okay. And so I started here. I had sewed these two together. Then I added this one, sewed this in. Added this one, sewed this in. Added this one, sewed this in. And now I'm down here. Again, looking at this, we just happen to have more than what's shown on here. We're going to be trimming here off. So that means when I start this row, I have to add here. And when we do that, we're adding a partial. How you're going to do it, we've only got full. What I say is you're going to fold this in half. You're going to press to the center. We're going to put the right side down. We're going to be, this center should go right where that seam is. That's where we're going to be sewing it. Okay? And this is what we want to sew, so we flip it over. Okay? Wait a minute. Just a sec. We flip it this way. Sorry. And we line that up. So we're going to start sewing here, and we're going to come around to here. So now I'm going to start sewing this partial. Again, I've got the seam line here. I've got my fold. I'm going to come over here, bring this over here, and I'm going to put my foot down, and I'm going to put the needle back down. Now I'm going to start sewing. I do those 3 stitches again like I always do. Needle up. I line up my slits, put it back down, sew to the slit. Again, bring it up, line those up, slide them over, sew straight. Again, there's my slit all the way down here. My other slit is here. This requires more of a tug, but we can do that. We just put it there, lay this back down, sew straight to that slit. And then you just push this out of the way as normal. You know, we're just sewing this space. We have this next slit to sew to. Put this down. I'm going to sew right to that slit. And I'm going to sew a little past and I'm going to stop. Now I have to bring this over, and I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to bring this side over to that edge, and I'm going to hold both down. I'm going to sew to about here. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to pick this up, and I just push this out of the way to the side and bring it back down and sew off. Okay, so now we have the partial sewn in, and again we're going to press from the top, pressing around, and that's what we've done. Now I'm going to bring the pattern back in so I can show you how to keep adding. So what's going to happen is what we just did. You just keep adding as you go. Well, that was to get the top row, sorry. Now I'm going to go on to page 6, which is doing this partial. So I just put that in. Now we're going to go back to step 2 and put this full one in like we did before. And you're going to go follow all of these rows all the way down until you have something that you want, your size, and then you're going to go through and trim. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation on doing the clamshell using our slit and sew method. This is Sue from Quilter's Paradise, where we aim to make quilting simpler.